Now you're getting really high tech.
I know.
Yeah, right?
We're gonna have you say your name, station, and city in the mic when we get going, so we have it on the recording. I'll give you 2 minutes, 1 minute, and wrap it up. And we're good.
Good morning. I'm Marisa Magnatta from WMMR in Philadelphia. Good morning, Crispin. How are you doing? Or afternoon. I'm so thrown off with this time change.
That's right. Has it already changed today? Or no, that's tomorrow.
It's
spring.
Tonight, yes.
Oh, it's spring forward tonight.
Yes. There's signs everywhere, so no one forgets.
Yes. No, I'm great. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, good, good, good. Well, congratulations on the movie Hot Tub Time Machine.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about your character?
Well, I play a fellow who, when I'm first met, I only have one arm, and then the fellows get into a hot tub time machine, and they go back in time to the same hotel where they find me with two arms, and then the comedy ensues as they look to see how I'm going to lose my arm. But, I mean, that's not what the film's about, but that's what my character is about. Yes.
Yeah. So, was there a lot of acting to hide your arm in that initial scene?
Not too much. You know, I think there are certain angles that look better in certain ways and then they edited around that. But the way it's edited, it looks relatively convincing. So it's yeah.
Very nice. And ironically, it is set in the 80s.
Yes.
How was it being, on a set full of people in 80s gear, and was it a little bit of a time warp?
Yeah. You looked at around, and it did seem kind of reminiscent of that period. The colorful, kind of fluorescent, bright clothing and headbands and leg warmers and that sort of thing.
Did it feel weird to be doing? Because obviously you're in movies in the 80s. Did it feel weird to be doing be in that same setting 30 years later? You're obviously more mature and you've grown up a bit.
No. I mean, the thing that I've reflected on though was because I was in Back to the Future in 1984 when we shot that. And there were obviously correlations from that film and this film. So I certainly reflected on the fact that I had been in a film about time travel. It was 25 years before, basically. I guess this has come out within the year, so it was 25 years ago that I was shooting Back to the Future. So there were obviously correlations, and that was interesting and is interesting to reflect upon.
Were you able to share any of those experiences with any of the other actors? Some of the people weren't even born yet when Back to the Future came out.
Sure, which experiences?
Just, the aura of being in the 80s and...
Well, you mean like as research? Or
Somewhat.
Nobody asked me about it for research, no, but but the cast were really nice and funny and nice people, and we were at the first part of it. We were shooting in a kind of a resort area, a ski resort, and everybody would go down into the. There was a piano. Craig is a great performer on the piano and played and sang, and it was a very pleasant atmosphere to be around.
Did you crack the mic at all? Did you sing yourself?
He forced everybody to do stuff. Actually, a couple of times. Craig was very influential. Once we went out to we did karaoke one night, and one time he had me do something while he was playing the piano. But no, it was I used the word forced jokingly, but he was very fun and entertaining, and it was nice to get kind of I don't know. Incorporated into that.
Very cool. Now this is kind of just a general question, but was there anything, thinking back to the 80s, since it was set at that time, is there anything from the 80s you'd like to forget?
No.
Be it like clothes, a song, a movie, a political figure, anything? Just
no, I think of everything as kind of that which leads to where you are now, and if you're interested in what you're doing now, and liking what you're doing now, then that's what's important. So to like compare yourself to things or think negatively of things, I don't like to do that. I like what I'm doing now, and so I look back at the things that I've done heretofore and think well of them.
That's great. It's very optimistic.
Yeah.
So I'd like to introduce you to Brandon and Patty. They are winners that came along with us to Tahoe.
Very good.
I think Brandon has a question for you.
I do actually.
Okay.
Okay. How was preparing for such a
like an outrageous comedy movie after coming off of Alice in Wonderland?
Well, interestingly, I shot both of them within 6 months or so of each other, and the way that I worked on the films were somewhat similar and somewhat dissimilar to how I had worked on certain films earlier on. Earlier in my career, what I would often do is look at the script in a very detailed way and then figure out very specific things about my character. And as I was shooting, often the takes, I would be kind of honing in on what my concepts were and trying to adhere to those concepts. On these two films, I was more interested in working within what the vision, like with Tim Burton, I wanted to fit within the vision of what that was. Hot Tub Time Machine was, there was an organic sense to what was going on, how Steve Pink worked with the actors. The film, there were script changes that were going on, and luckily Steve Pink was very open to organic ways of getting into it. So on both of the films in different ways, I was kind of fitting into what the situation was, as opposed to making very specific decisions beforehand as to what would happen with the character. But the two characters are very different, though. So what the specific wants were for each of the characters are quite different. As the Knave of Hearts, Milosevic Stain in Alice in Wonderland, I was playing opposite the Queen of Hearts, played by Helena Bonham Carter, who her character is a very volatile character, and often I'm cast as more eccentric or volatile type characters, which was an interesting thing for me. It was on some levels a very eccentric casting choice by Tim Burton. I mean, I'm grateful for it because often I'm not cast in those more less volatile type roles, but in that particular character, what I needed, my character needed, was probably I had certain financial or interests within the realm of the Queen, but I needed to be diplomatic with her. I couldn't because she would, be off with people's heads, and if I wasn't diplomatic with her, perhaps that could happen to me. So in certain ways, it's a very subdued character compared to a lot of the characters that I've done, and I'm glad to have that differentiation. This character, Phil, it was really on some levels, there was a simplicity to what the character was, because it was a character that you see that didn't have an arm, then in the middle of it did have an arm. Something that was added later, which I had talked about and asked for, was to give it a complete arc, was when you see me later back with the arm. So there was a simple element of what does this character want that fits within what the story is about, and what will be satisfying for that character. And I felt like, well, it's really about just a kind of simple, is this character happy or not happy? So at the beginning you see I'm not a particularly happy character, and then I'm a relative, seeming like a guy who just wants to have a nice time, kind of a nice, enjoyable time, and then I don't want to give away the end, but there are, it has a positive twist for the character at the end. So there were simple choices to make for it.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
All right, well, Crispin, thank you very much. Good luck with the movie.
Thank you. Oh, and I should
Yes,
add,
please.
I tour with my own films, and I haven't been to Philadelphia. I plan to.
Please
But
do.
people can find out where I'm going to be on CrispinGlover.com. They can sign up and get newsletters about it. So I just thought I'd mention that.
Well, we
as
hope to see you in Philadelphia very
That'd be
soon,
great.
then. We'd love to have you
Okay.
in studio. Thank
Yeah,
you, Crispin.
thank you too.